ice cream according to the latest testing results from key consumer group.
In 2015, the FDA linked a major ice cream company to a listeria outbreak that hospitalized people across several states. That made headlines. What doesn't make headlines is what's legally allowed inside many ice cream cartons today. Words like premium, natural, and light sound safe. But many brands rely on corn syrup, stabilizers, artificial flavors, and even pump extra air into the tub to lower costs. You might be serving your family something very different from what you think. In this video, I'm exposing 10 ice cream brands you should avoid and sharing 4 that are safer, with the final one being the cleanest widely available option. On BizWorld Explorer, we break down everyday products like this so you can protect yourself and your children from hidden shortcuts. If that matters to you, subscribe now. Let's start with a brand almost everyone has trusted at some point. Number 10, Breyers built its reputation on one powerful promise: simple ingredients. For years, that message created trust. Parents saw that phrase and felt safe bringing it home. But here's what most people don't realize: that promise doesn't apply evenly across the entire standard line. Many Breyers products in the regular section are no longer legally classified as ice cream. They're labeled frozen dairy dessert. That wording matters. It means the formula doesn't meet the fat standards required to be called real ice cream. Instead of more cream, manufacturers use alternative fats and added stabilizers to hold texture together. This is where it becomes misleading. The front of the carton still feels wholesome, but if you check the ingredient list on certain flavors, you'll find gums, corn syrup, and thickening agents added to replace what real dairy would normally provide naturally. Another issue is inconsistency. One Breyers flavor may look fairly clean, while another in the same freezer door contains a longer ingredient list. Most shoppers assume brand loyalty equals uniform quality. That assumption is risky. Psychologically, the word simple lowers your guard. You stop reading closely. That's the trap. Breyers opens this list because it shows how marketing can evolve faster than formulas. And once companies realize consumers respond to clean language, other brands take it further, sometimes in ways that carry even bigger consequences. Number 9, Blue Bell carries deep roots in parts of the United States. In some regions, it's more than a dessert, it's a tradition. Families grow up with it. Stores dedicate full freezer sections to it. That loyalty creates comfort, and comfort often stops questions before they start. But Blue Bell's history includes a serious chapter. In 2015, the company was linked to a multi-state listeria outbreak that resulted in hospitalizations. Production was shut down. Products were pulled nationwide. It was one of the most significant food safety events in the modern ice cream industry. While the company later returned to shelves, the scale of that incident should never be ignored. There's also the nutrition issue. Many Blue Bell flavors are extremely high in sugar and saturated fat per serving. Portion sizes on labels appear small, but most people eat far more than the listed amount. A single generous bowl can deliver a heavy load very quickly. After the outbreak, the brand focused heavily on rebuilding its image. Marketing emphasized comeback stories and loyalty, but branding recovery and structural change are not the same thing. Blue Bell appears here because history matters, and when a brand depends strongly on emotional attachment, scrutiny often fades. Next, we move to a company that uses a different tactic, changing texture and structure, to make indulgence feel lighter than it really is. Number 8, Eddie's/Dreyer's. Eddie's, known as Dreyer's in the western United States, promotes its slow-churned process as a smarter alternative to traditional ice cream. The message suggests careful preparation and improved quality. It sounds thoughtful. It sounds refined. But the method deserves a closer look. Slow-churned formulas typically contain a higher level of overrun. Overrun means air whipped into the mixture during production. All ice cream contains some air, but higher overrun increases volume without increasing real dairy content. The tub looks full. The weight tells a different story. You may be paying for space rather than substance. Another concern is the frequent use of corn syrup solids. This ingredient helps control texture and sweetness while keeping production costs stable. It blends smoothly and extends shelf life, but it shifts the product further away from a simple cream and sugar base. Texture becomes the selling point instead of ingredient quality. The product feels lighter and softer straight from the freezer. That softness isn't necessarily from better cream. It's often from formulation adjustments designed to compensate for reduced fat content. Eddy/Dreyer's earns its place here because it changes structure to create the impression of improvement. When air replaces richness and syrups replace traditional balance, the end result is engineered to feel satisfying while quietly reducing dairy value. Next, we'll examine a brand built around affordability, where cost control shapes the entire formula. Number 7. Turkey Hill. Turkey Hill is often placed in the freezer as the family size option. Large containers, lower price, enough scoops for everyone. That value positioning makes it attractive for households trying to stretch a grocery budget. But when a product competes mainly on cost, something else usually adjusts behind the scenes. Many Turkey Hill flavors rely heavily on artificial flavor systems rather than ingredients that naturally create taste. Instead of real fruit purees or higher dairy concentration, flavor compounds are used to mimic those profiles at lower cost. The result can taste bold, but the base formula stays inexpensive. Shelf life is another factor. To survive long distribution periods and repeated freezer door openings, extra stabilizers are added to maintain texture. These additives help prevent ice crystals and separation, especially in large tubs that may sit in home freezers for weeks. The smoother texture comes from formulation chemistry, not richer cream. When price drives the formula, shortcuts follow. The focus becomes keeping the product affordable and consistent across huge volumes. That usually means less emphasis on dairy quality and more reliance on industrial ingredients that extend durability. If this breakdown is helping, you understand what's really behind freezer labels. Subscribe to BizWorld Explorer so you don't miss future product investigations. Like this video so more families see it before their next grocery run. And comment below if Turkey Hill surprised you, or if there's another brand you want reviewed next. Up next, we look at a private label option where low price and mass sourcing create a different kind of concern altogether. Number 6. Great Value Ice Cream. Great Value Ice Cream looks harmless because it sits quietly at the lowest price on the shelf. When a tub costs noticeably less than everything around it, most people assume the difference can't be that serious. It's just dessert, right? But ultra-cheap pricing at national scale requires extreme cost control. This product is manufactured through contract suppliers. That means the same carton design can come from different facilities depending on region and supply agreements. The name stays the same, but the origin behind it may shift. When production changes hands, oversight standards and ingredient sourcing can shift too. To protect margins, formulas often rely heavily on thickening agents and emulsifiers that help stretch dairy content. These compounds maintain smoothness even when cream levels are reduced. The texture may seem fine, but the base quality is diluted. There's also a hidden freshness issue. Lower-priced ice cream tends to sit longer in warehouse storage and retail freezers before purchase. The longer it stays frozen in transit, the more the structure can degrade, even if you don't immediately notice it. When you're feeding children or serving guests, you assume you're offering something simple and safe. With ultra-budget products, the focus is on affordability first, formulation second. Great Value earns this spot because aggressive savings usually come with unseen trade-offs. Next, we move to a brand that overwhelms shoppers with flavor creativity, and that abundance brings a different concern entirely. Number 5, Baskin-Robbins Retail Tubs. Baskin-Robbins built its identity around variety. Dozens of flavors, bright colors, candy pieces, cookie swirls, syrups, and ribbons packed into every scoop. It feels fun. It feels creative. But when a brand focuses heavily on flavor overload, the base formula often becomes secondary. Retail tubs from Baskin-Robbins are designed to carry complex mix-ins. That requires a stronger additive system to hold everything together. Stabilizers and emulsifiers keep chunks suspended and prevent separation during freezing and thawing. Without those chemical supports, the structure would collapse. Color is another concern. Many flavors rely on artificial dyes to create vibrant blues, pinks, and greens. Those shades are not coming from natural ingredients. They're added to match the flavor concept and attract attention in the freezer aisle. There's also the issue of sugar stacking. When you combine a sweet dairy base with candy pieces, caramel ribbons, cookie dough, and syrup layers, the sugar multiplies quickly. One serving can contain far more than people realize because sweetness is layered from multiple sources at once. The excitement hides the load. It looks playful, but the ingredient list often tells a heavier story. Baskin-Robbins lands here because creativity comes at a cost, not just financially, but nutritionally. Next, we examine a brand that markets itself as luxury, where premium pricing creates a different kind of illusion altogether. Number 4, Häagen-Dazs. Häagen-Dazs is often treated as the gold standard in the freezer aisle. The branding feels refined. The price is higher. The packaging looks elegant and controlled. That setup sends a clear signal. This must be superior. The cost and presentation do not automatically equal balance. Several flavored varieties from Häagen-Dazs are built on an extremely rich cream base. That richness comes from high butterfat levels, which dramatically increase calorie concentration per spoonful. Then layered elements are added: caramel streams, fudge ripples, cookie fragments, chocolate shards. Each layer brings its own sugar load. When combined, the total climbs fast. Because the container is smaller than many competitors, people often eat the entire pint without thinking twice. The serving size printed on the label looks modest, yet most consumers exceed it in one sitting. The density of the formula means that what feels like a small treat can equal a large dessert. Another concern is frequency. The smooth texture and heavy mouthfeel make it easy to crave again quickly. Repeated consumption of highly concentrated fat and sugar adds up faster than most people realize. Häagen-Dazs earns this position because certain flavored lines turn indulgence into excess through concentration alone. And when brands move beyond richness into overload territory, the next company takes that intensity even further with chunks, swirls, and stacked ingredients pushed to the extreme. Number 3, Ben & Jerry's. Ben & Jerry's doesn't sell simple ice cream. It sells experience. Every pint is packed with thick brownie chunks, cookie dough pieces, candy bits, caramel rivers, and chocolate layers. The base is already sweet, but then extra layers are added on top. That stacking pushes sugar levels much higher than most people expect from a few spoonfuls. Another issue is how texture is used. Large inclusions create distraction. When you bite into fudge pieces or dough chunks, your focus shifts to excitement rather than the underlying formula. The heavy add-ins mask how sweet and dense the base actually is. It feels fun. It feels indulgent, but the total load builds quickly. There's also the ethical branding factor. Ben & Jerry's highlights social causes, fair trade sourcing, and sustainability efforts. Those values matter, but they can also create a health halo effect. People assume that because a company promotes good causes, the product must be better for them. That connection isn't automatic. Social responsibility and nutritional balance are separate issues. Portion control becomes difficult because each pint is designed to be finished. The packaging size encourages one-person consumption, even though the label lists multiple servings. If this breakdown is helping you see beyond the branding, Subscribe to BizWorld Explorer so you don't miss the next food deep dive. Like the video to push this information to more families. And comment below, did Ben and Jerry surprise you? Or was it expected? Next, we're moving into a brand where dairy reputation carries more weight than the ice cream formula itself. Number 2, Tillamook Ice Cream. Tillamook built its name on dairy. Most people know the brand from cheese, not ice cream. That strong dairy reputation carries over automatically. When shoppers see the Tillamook label in the freezer, they assume the same standards apply across every product. But ice cream is a different category with different formulation goals. Tillamook ice cream is known for being extra creamy and rich. That texture comes from high butterfat levels. While richness improves mouthfeel, it also increases calorie concentration per scoop. A standard serving contains a significant amount of saturated fat, and most people pour far more than the measured portion listed on the carton. There's also portion distortion. The containers are larger than many competitors, which makes the serving size seem smaller by comparison. When the tub looks big and the scoops look modest, it's easy to underestimate how quickly intake rises. What feels like a casual bowl can equal several labeled servings. The flavor positioning focuses heavily on indulgence. Thick chocolate bases, heavy caramel blends, and dense cream structures create a product that's easy to overconsume without noticing how concentrated it is. Tillamook appears near the top of this list because brand trust built in one dairy category doesn't automatically translate into balanced ice cream. And the final entry isn't a specific company at all. It's a category that sounds healthier than it truly is. Number 1, store brand light or reduced fat ice cream. The most misleading product in the freezer aisle isn't a famous name. It's the generic carton labeled light or reduced fat. That wording instantly makes people feel like they're making a smarter choice. It sounds healthier. It sounds controlled. But once fat is removed from ice cream, manufacturers have to rebuild flavor and texture in other ways. Many of these products rely on artificial sweeteners or sugar substitutes to keep sweetness strong while lowering listed calories. Some use sugar alcohols that can cause bloating or stomach discomfort when eaten in larger amounts. The label may show fewer calories, but the ingredient list often becomes longer and more complex. Fat normally gives ice cream its smooth, creamy body. When it's reduced, companies add emulsifiers and stabilizers to recreate that mouthfeel. These compounds hold water and air together so the product doesn't turn icy. The result feels creamy, but it's engineered to compensate for what was removed. There's also a behavior issue. When something is labeled light, people often serve themselves bigger portions without realizing it. The mental guard drops. That can erase the calorie difference completely. This category earns the top spot because it presents itself as the responsible option while depending heavily on reformulation tricks to imitate traditional ice cream. Most ice cream in stores is built for long shelf life and strong cravings, not clean ingredients. Labels are written to make indulgence feel lighter than it really is. Truly cleaner ice cream costs more to produce, which is why only a few brands stand out. If these breakdowns help you protect your family from hidden additives, subscribe to BizWorld Explorer so you don't miss the next grocery deep dive. Like this video so it reaches more people before their next shopping trip. Comment below which brand shocked you the most, and share this with someone who keeps ice cream stocked at home. Now let's look at the 4 safer options, starting with the brand 4. Safe number 4, Talenti. Select simple flavors only. Talenti earns a spot on the safer list only for its simpler flavors, not the layered or candy-filled varieties. One advantage is ingredient visibility. The clear packaging allows buyers to actually see the product, and the brand tends to list components in a straightforward way without hiding behind vague terms. Basic flavors like vanilla or chocolate usually contain fewer stabilizers compared to heavily mixed competitors. The formula often leans more on milk, cream, sugar, and egg, rather than long chains of artificial compounds. That reduction in additives lowers the overall processing burden. However, Talenti is still dessert. Sugar levels remain high, and portion sizes can add up quickly if eaten directly from the jar. This option works best as an occasional treat, not a nightly habit. Talenti makes the list because certain simple varieties reduce unnecessary extras while maintaining a more traditional base. But moderation still matters. Safe number 3. Alden's Organic stands out because its dairy comes from certified organic farms. That means cows are not given synthetic growth hormones, and their feed avoids conventional pesticide-heavy crops. Cleaner feed at the source reduces the chance of unwanted residues entering the final product. Another advantage is the absence of artificial dyes. Many bright ice creams use synthetic coloring to create visual appeal. Alden's avoids that shortcut, keeping the ingredient list simpler and easier to understand. The cream quality also plays a role. Organic dairy often contains a more natural fat composition due to stricter feed standards and pasture requirements. That creates a smoother structure without relying heavily on synthetic stabilizers. Still, this is ice cream. Sugar content remains significant and calorie density is not low. Alden's is a better constructed dessert, not a health supplement. It works best for families who want cleaner sourcing, while understanding it should remain an occasional treat rather than a daily routine. Safe number 2. Strauss Family Creamery earns a higher spot because of how it sources its milk. The dairy comes from grass-fed herds raised under strict standards, which supports a more natural nutrient profile in the cream. When cows graze on pasture instead of relying heavily on processed feed, the fat composition in the milk changes in a positive way. Another strength is simplicity. Strauss keeps stabilizer use minimal compared to most national brands. The texture comes largely from real cream rather than heavy formulation adjustments. The ingredient lists are short and easier to understand. Distribution is also more limited and regional. Shorter travel distances mean less time sitting in warehouses and trucks before reaching stores. That reduces handling stress and preserves overall quality. The downside is cost. Smaller production and higher sourcing standards increase the price. It's not the cheapest option in the freezer, but for buyers who value cleaner dairy and shorter supply chains, Strauss offers a meaningful upgrade over mass-produced alternatives. Safe number 1. Local small batch creamery, minimal ingredient list. The cleanest option isn't a national brand. It's a local small batch creamery that keeps the ingredient list extremely short. In many cases, the base contains just cream, milk, sugar, and egg yolks. That traditional custard-style foundation creates structure naturally without needing synthetic binders. Because production volumes are smaller, the focus is usually on craftsmanship rather than shelf longevity. Many small creameries avoid artificial emulsifiers altogether, relying on real dairy fat and egg proteins to hold texture together. When fewer industrial additives are involved, the product stays closer to what ice cream originally was. Another benefit is proximity. Local production often means shorter transportation time and less storage before purchase. Fresher turnover can preserve quality and flavor integrity. The trade-off is availability and cost. Not every region has reliable small batch options, and prices are higher due to limited scale. Still, this remains the cleanest indulgence available in most areas: simple ingredients, traditional methods, and fewer processing shortcuts. Ice cream isn't something you need to fear. The key is awareness. The product itself isn't evil. The way it's formulated makes the difference. When you understand ingredients, portion size, and sourcing, you can rotate smarter instead of cutting everything out. Small upgrades over time protect your health without extreme rules. If this breakdown helped you shop more carefully, subscribe to BizWorld Explorer so you don't miss future grocery investigations. Like this video to help more families see it. Comment below what brand surprised you most, and share this with someone who keeps their freezer stocked.